Hey guys, how's it going? I am dressed up for a hike, but obviously I'm not outdoors, I'm in my apartment. I know about 7 months ago when I was injured, I promised I would do some gear reviews to keep my YouTube channel busy, but I never got around to it, and I've been doing a lot of hikes ever since. So I thought instead of doing a gear review, I would go over what I typically wear and what I typically bring on a summer day hike. Now this is only for warm weather hiking when it's probably above 55 degrees Fahrenheit. That's what I would say all this clothing and hiking is for. I'll go over all my regular items, what I have on me, what I have in my bag, some accessories that I bring, some alternatives to my clothing and accessories, and some unusual items that most people don't have, like my gloves and like what I have on my feet. So I hope you enjoy it. I'm gonna lay out everything that I have in the video description for you to look at. I won't go into full detail of all of my items, but this will be a pretty long video. So I'll put some minutes when I go to clothing and then pack and all of that stuff. So I hope you enjoy it. Okay guys, this is what I typically wear on my body on a summer day hike. So everything I'm carrying either in my hands, in my shorts, or what I'm wearing. And I have my computer here for all of my product information in case I forget a specific name. But first, let's start out with my shirt, which is by Ex Officio. This is the Airstrip Light Micro. This is a very common shirt that they sell. I typically prefer long sleeve shirts in the summer because I really don't like wearing bug screen and sunscreen all day, and wearing long sleeves avoids that. And I think it's a great trade-off if I'm a little bit hotter and sweat more, but I can avoid putting liquids all over my arms that are oily constantly. And this actually vents really well. It's a button down, so you can undo the buttons if you're getting really hot, and there's mesh under the pockets, there's mesh on the back. I wear it on almost all of my trips. I've owned this for at least 5 years, and I have not one rip in it yet. It's extremely durable, and it's one of my favorite items. One of the other most common items I wear are Ex Officio boxers. These are the Give and Go Sport Mesh boxer briefs that have a 6-inch inseam, and these are the lightest boxers that they sell. They're very thin mesh. They're very good for summer when you're sweating a lot down there, and the only drawback is because they're so thin, the elastic isn't very tough and they can bunch a little, but otherwise they breathe very well. I wear a lot of different kinds of boxer briefs, so I'll show you those later, but these are probably the ones I wear the most. For my shorts, this is a recent purchase actually. I tore a hole in my previous shorts and I just got these a month ago, but I've worn them on my past 4 hikes and I love them. Great product. These are the Columbia Silver Ridge stretch shorts, and they're really lightweight nylon, and they don't have an elastic waist. I'm tired of elastic waist. This is fitted to my waist and very comfortable. The pockets are great, and I've really liked it so far. For the belt, this is a Bison Designs Last Chance belt. It's a nylon belt and it has a really secure buckle. This is the brand of firefighters out west, Hot Shots, that kind of stuff. You can use this belt for other emergency situations if you need. It's kind of thick compared to other nylon belts, so you really need to have thick loops on your shorts for this to work well. But I like it. You know, really any belt can work for you. That's a personal choice. The only 2 things I carry in my short pockets are lip balm rated UPF 50 and a phone. I actually just got a new phone yesterday, so the last 2 years I've been recording videos on this phone, a Samsung Galaxy 6. So this is everything prior to this video was on this phone. So let's move on to my shoes. I've had these for about 9 months, and I really love them. These are La Sportiva TX3s. They are heavy-duty trail runners / approach shoes. And two great things about them are the grips on the bottom. They're circular, which gives you much better traction on ice and wet rocks. And it's a really sturdy sole. And they have a rubber rand that's fully wrap around. So it gives you really good protection if you hit roots and rocks on the side. And it's integrated with the toe, so it doesn't really peel like most lightweight trail runners. So I really like these. The only drawback is because of that rubber wraparound rand. It doesn't drain as well. It takes a little bit longer for your feet to dry out. So these are the insoles that came with the shoes. Currently, I bought recently some Superfeet blue insoles, and I'm liking them so far. They're a little bit better support than the La Sportiva ones, but I'm switching back and forth. One of those items that most people don't have are what I was wearing on my feet. These are gaiters. These are by Montbell, and these are short stretch spats. That's what they're called, even though they're gaiters. And this is one of my favorite purchases I've had. I've had these for, I think, 3 or 4 years. And these are soft shell. They're not waterproof. It's mainly to prevent little pebbles, pine needles and dirt getting into your shoes when you're using shorts. If you wear pants, it's much less likely that you get that kind of debris in your shoes. But if you wear shorts, you might be stopping every hour to empty your shoes out. And these prevent it really well. And one of the reasons I like it is you don't need a Velcro patch to put on your shoes. It's held on by this understrap. So this can be used on any shoe that has a little arch. The other item that you see that I wear all the time, and most people don't wear, are these gloves. These are GoFit X Trainer gloves. So very simple. This is probably the best purchase I've ever made. I've had these for about 4 years, and you can see they are, well, let me turn this flash on. There we go. You can see that these are pretty worn out. These are leather palms, but really nice mesh on the back, and they're fingerless. So these are great for trekking poles, for the winter when it's not that cold and your fingers can still be free, and for bushwhacking and climbing. So if you're grabbing unknown objects, thorns, rocks, this can protect you, and it doesn't really make my hands sweat. I love these gloves. They're about worn out now. I need to find some new ones, but they were only $11. They're basically weightlifting gloves. So I highly recommend something like this. As far as socks go, usually I wear these Injinji toe socks. So these are pretty light and they look funny, but one of the things I love about them is that having these toes, it fixes the front of your foot on your socks a lot better, so there's much less rubbing and extraneous movement from the fabric. So it's basically eliminated any blisters on the front of my foot. So these are probably my go-to socks. My hat, this is not special. I went to Duke. I love Duke. This is one of the items I might never upgrade. I like wearing a hat that's, kind of puts me apart. I don't like wearing the full brim hats. So even though this doesn't protect my ears at all, I still enjoy wearing it. It's just cotton. It doesn't vent at all. It's full of sweat and dirt and sunscreen. But, yep. And the last thing I carry are trekking poles. These are Black Diamond Trail Ergo Cork. I've had these since 2010, and they've been with me for over 5,000 miles of hiking and still going strong. One thing I did is I cut the straps off. I never use these. The straps are just mostly useless on trekking poles. You might argue with me that the correct way to use it is to put your hands in the straps, but I've been in a lot of situations where that's a stupid idea. And these are the cheaper version of Black Diamond poles, but the more expensive versions have springs in the pole itself to I don't know, help you spring back up. And those springs can fail and they just get noisy. So this is what I'm carrying on my body. And pretty complex system compared to most people, I think, but I've been wearing these items for many years, or versions of these items, and they've worked very well for me. The alternatives for my footwear. You can see on the left are my new La Sportiva TX3s. These were my shoes that I wore for about 3 years and about 1,500 trail miles, which is a crazy amount, but I took great care of them. These are La Sportiva Ultra Raptors, and they're the same size. They're just lighter trail runners with less protection, worse grip, thinner soles, etc. But they're very comfortable. You can see that I've done extensive glue repairs over the years. They're very beat up. I haven't worn these in many months, but the rand around it is a thin plastic version of the rubber rand here. And the grips on the bottom are not nearly as good, and I've put a lot of glue in that. But these are lighter and they drain very well and they're comfortable, so I keep these around. I'm probably going to buy some more pairs. My regular socks are the toe socks, and the three alternatives I wear are basically, these are ultralight PhD Smart Wool socks, very thin. The heels wear pretty quickly in these, but these drain and dry great. They're very comfortable socks. These are lightweight Smart Wool socks, a little bit thicker. Maybe if the weather's a little cooler, I'll wear these. And then just any regular polyester acrylic athletic sock. Those work as well. And usually in my pack, I have some backup socks in a pocket, and they're usually these cheap Adidas. So those are my regular alternatives to my footwear. Here are my regular options that I use for boxers and shorts. So I showed you earlier, I wear these Ex Officio Sport Mesh Give and Goes and the Columbia. So I've lined these up from what I consider the lightest weight, thinnest to the heaviest. So in terms of alternative boxers, these are just REI, just their generic brand boxer briefs. And then these are Ex Officio Give and Go boxers also. These are just the regular cheaper version, and these are thinner. And then the heaviest version are these Under Armour boxers, the Heat Gear. And they're all nice. I basically interchange these during the week when I'm working out, doing anything, outdoors and hiking. So I don't just wear these all the time. I wear all of these. So my Columbia, my new shorts, were bought to replace these. These are REI Sahara cargo shorts. This is their cheapest base brand shorts with an elastic waistband, so it's not fitted. And I tore a big hole in the butt just crouching. So I haven't gotten that fixed yet. I'm not sure if I care. They're not my favorite. The other alternative are also the REI base brand. It's the REI Sahara convertible zip pants. So I like to wear pants when I'm doing a lot of bushwhacking. So they have the zips that you can zip off. At any time, it's really easy to zip off and zip on. And I do that when I'm doing a lot of peak bagging through brush. So I like wearing these to avoid ticks and just scraping up my legs. But they're definitely hotter in the summer, so I usually don't wear those. So that's my bottoms. Here are the three items I typically wear as shirts. On the left is the Ex Officio shirt I almost always wear, but if I think a hike is going to be mostly under the trees and maybe it's a little rainy where the bugs won't be coming out, I might wear a short sleeve shirt. So usually I wear this Royal Robbins button-up shirt. And it's basically, although it's a different company, it's got very similar features to the Ex Officio shirt, just short-sleeved. And honestly, a lot of the times, I just wear a cheap polyester athletic shirt that you can buy anywhere at any store. I have a lot of these from soccer. You can see the league I'm in, or I was in before my injury, and I probably have 8 of these shirts in this style, and they're very lightweight, polyester, designed for athletes, and they work just fine in the summer. So it really depends on how hot it is and how much sun there's going to be on the hike. Okay, now it's on to my pack, which is definitely a more complicated subject to break down because there's a lot of little trinkets that I like to bring on day hikes. I like a really big pack for day hikes because since I'm not backpacking, I'm not bringing the extra weight of a tent, a sleeping bag, food cooking system, etc. So you're saving a lot of weight automatically by taking a day hike. And that's why you always see me with a big pack like this. This is a Millet Elevation 40 Daypack, and that means it's a 40-liter pack. This is actually rated as an ultralight backpack, and it's mainly for winter hiking and climbing and etc. And in the summer, there's barely anything in my pack because I don't take any winter clothing, but it's a lot more useful in the winter where I have to stuff in layers and more emergency type gear. So I'm loaded up, but it looks heavy, but it's not actually heavy. So it's got great strap attachment points on both shoulder straps, and it even comes with a hip pocket, and it has a hip belt padded, and you can see I've had a lot of wear on this over the years. I've had this pack for about 6 years, and it's holding up strong. It has an aluminum suspension frame system with the body frame plate curving in towards the pack, so I get some good ventilation. It even has a built-in rain cover that I've never used. On the side, it has pretty nice, deep mesh pockets for water bottles on each side. The drawback of this pack is it doesn't have many daisy chain type loops on the back of it. This makes it really difficult to ultralight backpack in a weekend with this unless you have really light gear or some external straps that can help you out. So it has one big pocket, mesh pocket, which I keep wet stuff in or water filtering. And it has a top pocket that has a zipper on the outside and an extra pocket underneath. So I like to keep things that I need to grab quickly in the top pocket and stuff on the bottom like car keys or electronics that might be in a plastic bag on the inside. Then it's got a pretty deep interior where you can fit a pretty big water bladder. But this is a very nice pack that's held up well, but I'm actually looking to get a new one soon. Something a little bit smaller because this is breaking down. There's some tears all over it. So now I'm going to take it apart and delve into what's in my pack on a typical summer day hike. Okay, first I'm going to go over my water hydration and purification system that I bring on every day hike. So I have 2 sets of bladders and bottles that I typically bring. These are my 2 favorite. This is a Camelback Antidote 1.5 liter. And this is just it's Chinook, but it's a 1 liter aluminum bottle. So I like bringing both something that I can drink from while I'm hiking and something that I can drink from when I take off my pack. So typically I put water in here and I make a Gatorade mix here with Gatorade powder. And I have a little vial of Gatorade powder. This is extra. Usually I pre-make the Gatorade, and if I refill this bottle, I'll put in some more Gatorade. So I like to have a nice sweet electrolyte drink when I eat lunch. And this is usually enough. This holds 2.5 liters, which is typically enough for a day hike. My alternatives are, this is a platypus. This is the cheapest platypus. This is the Hoser. This holds 1.8 liters, and it's the cheapest because it doesn't have the big zip, and there's no quick detach point. Here you can detach this, and it doesn't leak. Here you have to fill up this bottle holding up the bladder, and it's not the most ideal situation. So this is something I'll bring if I need more water in my bladder, but I don't want to refill it. This is a clean canteen, which has a wider mouth, which I like, but it's only 27 ounces. So I basically have two different sizes of each, so I can mix and match depending on how much I think I'll drink. In terms of purification, I actually bring all of these items all the time. So in my back pocket, the mesh pocket, I have a Sawyer Mini filtration system. This is the Sawyer Mini. I bring the straw because it's a lot easier to filter the water with the straw into a bottle. This doesn't screw onto my bottle, but the straw makes it pretty easy to lock the bottle between my legs. This is the 16-ounce bag. I don't really like it. I think I'm going to buy the 32-ounce bag because 16 ounces is really tiny and hard to fill up. And this is an old Platypus soft water bottle that I cut in half, and I just use it for a scoop. So it's a really flat, easy scoop. So if you have any soft bottles that are getting old and dirty, cut them in half, use it as a scoop. My preferred method of filtration is Aquamira drops. These react in 5 minutes, and they treat water within 30 to 45 minutes. And I'm a chemist by trade, so I trust chemicals, and these are great. They're lightweight, and I keep them in this bag. So I'm just showing you, these bags have nothing to do with my water system. It's just the bags I keep them in. This goes into my easy to reach top pocket. This goes into my interior pocket. The other thing I carry are a few potable aqua chlorine dioxide tablets. So it's this form in a tablet. These take longer to react, but these also have a longer shelf life. So I always keep these tablets in my car. Any pack I have, I keep them as kind of a last resort survival items. Okay, next, let me go over some items that I almost always have in my pack that have to deal with rain, wetness, moisture, or going to the bathroom. So I'll start on the left first. I always have this. This is a dry bag. It's by Stoic, and it has a nice vent here, and I can fit a lot of items in my pack into this really quickly to protect it from rain. I also like to keep a freezer bag on hand too, in case I have anything else. Freezer bags are cheap, they're tough, usually waterproof. And third, I always have a trash compactor bag that I don't line my pack with all the time, I just keep it there. And these are great for lining your pack on the inside and putting everything in it. A lot of people ditch the rain covers these days and line their pack with these bags, and these are very tough and waterproof. I also usually bring an umbrella if there's a chance of rain. This umbrella is by Eurosherm. It's the Swing Light Flex umbrella. It was sold by Go Light in the past, and I think it's sold by Six Moon Designs now. I'm not sure, but it's a very light carbon fiber umbrella that you can bust out really quickly from the side of your pack. I keep it in my water bottle pocket on the right side, and I've used this a few times. It's great. Good value, maybe better in the desert for sun, but it's pretty good for rain too. What I typically bring for rain protection is this Montbell UL Stretch Wind Parka. This is not waterproof. This is a very lightweight wind shell. It weighs 4 ounces or 4.1 ounces, and really thin, lightweight material. It does have a DWR finish, but for the most part, I try to choose day hikes where I don't have a high chance of rain, because that would be kind of a waste of a hike if I do it once a weekend. So this is good for a light rain, and this is great for strong winds in the winter, but this is obviously a summer day hiking video. If there's a strong chance of rain, I bring a heavy duty rain shell. This is a Marmot Oracle. This is one of their most popular rain jackets. It's heavier weight than the Precip jacket by, I think, 4 or 5 ounces. But this is tough, it can withstand a lot of abuse from bushes and all kinds of impact shoulders, because one of the wear points for a lot of rain jackets is the shoulder straps. So this is a good jacket, a little bit heavy, so I don't like to bring it. In the bottom of my pack, I always hike alone, and I always carry this SLL survival blanket. This fits 2 people. Never used it, obviously. Still good. I'd like to keep it that way, but it's a pretty cheap option they put in your pack. You never know when you're going to need it. I like to bring one of these 2 items. This is a generic cotton bandana. I use this for wiping up sweat mostly off my face and forehead. If it's going to be a little bit wetter, like if I'm going to be in a creek a lot for waterfalls, I'll bring this MSR Nano Pack Towel, which will just absorb more moisture than this. Sometimes I'll bring both. Lastly, we'll get to the toiletries. All of these items I fit into this little stuff sack by REI. I bring a generic plastic trowel, which costs like $4, and honestly, it works just as well as some steel and titanium trowels that I've bought. So I keep that because it's light and cheap, and if I break it, I'll just buy another. I like wet toilet paper, wet toilet wipes. So much better than dry toilet paper, but I do bring some dry toilet paper so I don't have to use up the wet wipes. I also have an antibacterial wet wipe and some extra plastic bags for, the used toilet paper. And then I bring a little thing of hand sanitizer. So this is a lot of the items that are always in the bottom of my pack. Now I'm going to go over the things I'll bring for food on a day hike. I'd like to preface this with saying I don't eat much on most of my day hikes. I barely bring any food. I'm usually not that hungry. I prefer just drinking water and a Gatorade sweetened drink. And I've actually gone many day hikes for the entire day, 5 to 8 hours, where I haven't eaten one thing until I finish. So with all that being said, I usually bring just 3 items. I'll bring trail mix, not this much. This is a big thing of trail mix. I'll cut that off and I will repackage that in a smaller Ziploc plastic bag. I like to bring a full pack of beef jerky. This is my favorite thing. I love beef jerky. I buy it on sale all the time. And if there's one thing I'm going to finish on a hike, it's going to be a whole pack of beef jerky. And then I like bringing some sort of sweets. And these are energy chews. Honey Stinger is one of my favorite brands. Their energy chews and their energy gels are very tasty, very good. And these give me a little boost. So I love doing that. As an alternative, I don't have anything in here, but I will make a turkey sandwich, especially in the winter. I'm more likely to eat a sandwich in the winter than in the summer. So usually my sandwich will fit in a Tupperware container like this. Some other things I like to bring, different kinds of trail mix. Sometimes I'll bring bars. I don't have any Cliff Bars currently, but I always eat Cliff Bars. I just couldn't find any. Beef sticks, different kind of beef jerky, and dark chocolate. I love dark chocolate. I usually put it in my cooler and then I put it beside my water bladder so it's cold, and I like eating that as a snack too. So as you can see, I'm pretty simplistic in terms of food. Alright, now I'm going to go over some odds and ends that I usually carry on my hikes. Some of these items are accessories that I carry on certain types of hikes. First, I usually have some headphones in my car. I'll put them in my bag in case I have a really long return hike on a forest road where I get kind of bored. Plug these in and listen to some podcasts on my phone. That really helps a 2-3 hour hike go by pretty quickly. I almost always carry sunscreen in the summer. This is a 50, this is a 30. I carry one of these or another brand, it doesn't matter. These tubes are both pretty big, but it's a day hike, so I'm not that concerned with the weight. I also previously mentioned I carried lip balm. This is SPF 45. I just thought I'd show it again. These 2 items I always have, And a lot of these items that I'm showing here, I keep in the 2 Ziploc bags I showed earlier. This is the Aquamira drops. Get rid of those. So this is a friction stick. So this is great for chafing in any part that you can think of. It's a little bit greasy, and this actually is a little bit wet once you start sweating. This is a great product, Lanacane. I try to preserve it for more extreme chafing situations. It has a numbing ingredient, and it's a little bit better than the friction sticks that you typically buy. I always have this little roll of duct tape in there for whatever you need it, and some stormproof matches for emergency situations. Going on that, I always keep a headlamp in there, and I keep this protected. This is a black diamond spot. I have 3 of these, and I keep one in the car. I always keep one in the pack and one at home. I have an emergency whistle clipped on the outside of my pack, and I have a Swiss Army knife, 2 blades, saw, lots of little gadgets. I like to keep that in the pack too. I carry one of these pill boxes. I like to repackage pills, so I have fiber pills, ibuprofen, and typically Benadryl, in case you get a lot of poison ivy or stung by yellow jackets or wasps. You can take some Benadryl while you're hiking. Sometimes I carry bug repellent. Not always. It really depends on the hike. I'll carry this small bottle of 100% DEET. I also have a little picaridin spray, which I couldn't find, and it's a little bit smaller and lightweight than this. This is something I don't usually carry. It is an Insect Shield head net by Sea to Summit. So I've worn this on a few hikes. If the bugs are really bad, you can put this over your head and you'll be fully protected. I'm just showing you a generic map. I always keep whatever map in the outside pocket of my pack so it's easily accessible. And lastly, I don't carry this much. This is a climbing rope. It's I think it's 25 feet. I had it cut, and I use this for a lot of waterfall hikes when I have to get down a slope safely to view a waterfall. So I don't carry carabiners or anything like that. I just loop this around a tree and rappel myself. So I don't really do like a lot of climbing, but this is safer than trying to go down a slope with just your 2 feet. All right, this is the last segment, and it's the electronics. I carry a lot of electronics, and this is by far the most expensive part of my equipment, and it's overkill, but partially because I do a lot of photography and a lot of videos. So first, let's go over where I attach them. On my pack, I usually clip my GPS to this shoulder strap, and here, this Low Pro, this is a small case. I forgot what the name of it, the model name was, but this fits my digital camera just fine and is clipped to my other shoulder strap with tri-glide clips. These are very secure. I love this setup for easy reach to my GPS and camera. So first, this is a Canon PowerShot G16. I've had it for 2 years and love it. It's a pretty nice point and shoot camera. It is, I think it was 400 or 420 when I purchased it, and it's basically the range of really good point and shoot just below an SLR type camera. Next, I carry a Garmin eTrex 20. This is how I track all of my hikes, and I also use it for navigation. Third, I carry a Spot Gen 3. This is a satellite GPS messenger, and this is a recent purchase, and this was kind of a purchase that me and my parents made together because I typically hike alone, and I do a lot of hikes that are pretty dangerous, especially around waterfalls. So this is an emergency device. I sometimes use it to check in if I'm doing a backpacking trip. I can check in with the OK buttons, and I send it to my mom and like my roommate. But otherwise, I don't touch any of the other stuff, and it's just there in my pack in case I need it. And the other important electronic item is my phone. Now, this is my old phone, the Samsung Galaxy 6. Currently, I have an LG G6. It's brand new. But, this is just to show you what it's mounted to. So whenever I'm doing selfie, front-facing camera, or when I set up the tripod and I do a shoot where I walk out into a cliff, this is what I'm using. It's a very small tripod. This is by Joby. It's their original Gorilla Pod. And it's a flexible arm that you can wrap around branches, rocks, whatever. And I mount it to I mount my phone using the square jellyfish mount. It's a very simplistic mount I got on Amazon for $9. And if you unscrew that, you can screw this onto my camera. Very simplistic. I also keep a microfiber cloth in my hip belt or my pocket so it's easy to reach. Another new purchase I just got, I haven't used it yet, I got it in the mail 2 days ago, is the stick pick. And this is a mount so I can do good selfies, which goes onto my pole like this, and I can screw on my phone or my camera. So that should give me a little bit better narration videos. Lastly, I carry backup batteries for all of my stuff. In my interior Ziploc bag that I put on the inside of my backpack, I carry 2 AA's, that's for my GPS. I carry 3 AAA's for my headlamp. And I carry an extra battery for my digital camera. I also got this free USB battery that charges my Samsung phone. But actually, this cord doesn't fit my new LG, unfortunately. So that's going to be useless until I get another cord. So, as you can see, it's overkill for electronics, but, a lot of my hikes are for websites, informational, so that's why I have a pretty elaborate setup. Alright guys, that's a wrap up. That was a very long video, I apologize for that, but I basically went over almost every item that I use for a typical summer day hike, and plus all the alternatives and accessories that I would use for a long peak bagging hike or a waterfall canyoneering type hike. And actually right now, this is the first time I'm using my stick pick and it looks pretty good. So I think I'll be using it a lot in the future. In case it's too long for you, I'm going to put all the minutes in the bottom and all the descriptions, just the product name, model, all that, of every item I talked about in the video information. If you have any questions or comments or interested in one of the things I use, feel free to contact me. I'm not a professional hiker. I'm not an expert per se, but it is my main hobby. I've been doing this for over 10 years. Almost every weekend I hike. Very familiar with North Carolina and the Southeast. So some of my opinions I feel like you can trust. Some maybe not. Depends, it's up to you. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this. I'm not going to be doing many of these because I think I did it way too long. So I'll see you guys on the next hike. Later.